That was pretty hard, to be fair.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The Tap the Tour is the single biggest mass participation amateur road cycling event in the world. It's going to be a big day, 1,000 metres, 130 odd K, 16,000 riders. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, you can say that again. It is definitely going to be pretty hard. As you can see from this course map, there were 5 categorised climbs, 3 of which were of real note: Col de Saisies, the Col du Prix, and finally a climb up to La Plagne, which was 19 kilometres long. I've been taking my training pretty seriously for the last 6 months, getting out on the road bike and obviously smashing some sessions on the Wattbike as well. I've been over to the Lake District to get some more climbing in, and over the winter months I was getting in the gym quite a lot as well, trying to get as strong as possible. So I was feeling pretty prepared. The trip started with a long drive down to the south of France, past Mont Blanc, over to the event village where I collected my bag and got myself ready for the big day ahead.
Let's get started.
Final thoughts? I don't have any final thoughts. I'm through that the first 15 minutes is going to be mental.
We began by leaving Albertville on a dual carriageway where the speed was up to 40k an hour for the first 15 minutes.
First climb, first descent done. Some of the guys on the descent, they go so quick.
And for reference, I am a decent mountain biker. By no means am I going to win the Downhill World Championships, but I'm okay. So I wasn't expecting to be getting past at this point in the race. But it's pretty mental to see how many risks some riders were willing to take at like the first proper descent. You can actually see here just in the barriers, someone had crashed on the first proper steep corner of the day. So after we made it to the bottom of that first little descent, we now began climbing up the Col de Saisies, which in my mind was like the first proper climb.
The first real test, the Col de Saisies. First proper climb down, now it's onto like a 20-minute descent. It's going to be crazy.
So we absolutely bombed it down the Saisies, but I still had to contend with nut jobs like this guy on my right here. Dive bombing on every corner. At the bottom, I managed to catch onto the back of a small group which pulled me all the way to the first aid station.
Rest stop was carnage. Col de Prix just begun.
In terms of the severity of the gradients, this was the hardest climb in the entire ride. The final kilometre was as steep as 12%, which was properly brutal, especially as the sun had now started to come out. Crested the Col de Prix and then had this stunning descent over this reservoir before climbing back up the Cormet de Roseland.
I've noticed my pace is better now compared to those who are around me, suggesting I've paced myself okay.
My next stop at the top of the Cormet de Roseland, banged a bit of water and some more fuel, and then we had this crazy descent which was really swooping and fast at the top. Before it started to get quite techie towards the bottom, and that was leading us all the way to the final climb. I then hopped onto the wheel of this taller rider, which massively helped, and he pulled me all the way to the bottom of the final climb, which was always going to be very hard.
On the steep slopes now of La Plagne, so close. The heat. I've done so much heat prep, but even still, it's just not what you're meant to be doing, is it?
No, riding up a mountain in temperatures closing on 30 degrees is not ideal. I was still noticing that compared to the other riders around me, my pace was still pretty high. I was getting quite a few overtakes, which filled me with quite a lot of confidence going into the final for UK.
What a brutal finish this is. 5k, well thereabouts to go. Just feels like never ending.
At this stage you started to see people walking with the bike.
4k to go. 2k left. 1k to go.
And as I rolled over the finish line, I got to the top of the pannier and finished the Tap the Tour 2025.
That was pretty hard, to be fair.
Looking round, it was clear it wasn't just me that was feeling it.
Some guy was like collapsed. Oh, it's so crazy. Oh.
These were my results. I ended up coming top 8% of all finishers. I'm pretty happy with that. But I will be back and I will do better.